Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we have a beautiful Triceratops bust to take a look at, as this is from Blackheart Models. This is one of their Micromania busts. This is actually the seventh Micromania bust that I've added to my collection. It's the seventh one that I've reviewed for you guys, and it may be one of the best of all. It is a gorgeous looking Triceratops model, and again, detail-wise, it's detail that's this good. The model almost paints itself. It's so unbelievably good, and I'm absolutely in love with these Micromania busts. I have been with each and every one of them. They're so cool because they're really highly detailed, but they're nothing that takes up too much room in your collection. They're nice and small, compact. They pretty much fit in any area of your collection, so that's a really redeeming factor of these models. And they're just generally a really, really beautiful, high-quality dinosaur bust. And there are numerous species at this point to choose from, 8 in total. I now have 7 of the 8 after this reviewed, and the 8th one is the Ceratosaurus, which will be coming up for review very soon. But anyway, let's go ahead and get a closer look at this gorgeous Triceratops bust right now. So taking a look at our really beautiful Triceratops, you can see that again, sculpt and detail-wise, this thing is off the charts. It includes so much detail, it is almost mind-boggling. You can see the nostrils sculpted out really beautifully right there. The beak as well sports an incredible amount of detail to it. You can see it just looks super realistic, super lifelike. Really nice detailing to the skin texture throughout the face of the Triceratops. You can see some beautiful scale detail showing up here and there, as well as some really nice scales there around the horn up here on the top of the snout of the Triceratops. You can see the detail there in the eye area is really beautifully done, almost like a row of kind of like scoots that run over the top of the eye and then underneath the eye as well. And the eye itself is, of course, sculpted out. And down here on the underside of the Triceratops as well, you can kind of see like almost like an osteoderm-like appearance or a scute-like appearance down the underside of the Triceratops. And that actually continues to run down here as it heads toward like the chest region of the Triceratops, like a very large, kind of a thicker scale effect right there, and I really quite like that aspect of the figure. As you move up here into the frill, you can see the frill is gorgeously sculpted, gorgeously detailed as well. You have kind of like those scoots and stuff that run up the frill of the Triceratops, something we see quite often as far as a Triceratops goes. And in general, the texturing to the skin and everything up here on the top of the head looks really, really good. The spikes that run along the frill as well are really, really nicely sculpted. And you can see that even over here on this side, the head just looks incredible. Of course, you're not going to see too much difference on this side in comparison to what we had just seen on the previous side, because it's a bust. It's only really the head. And for the most part, it looks like it's almost looking straightforward. You can see the body definitely had a curve to it, so it appears as though maybe like the Triceratops was making a sharp right turn. You could see like a bend right there, but you're not going to see too much difference on this side compared to the previous side. You can also see the horns up here on the top of the head of the Triceratops are very, very beautifully detailed and sculpted out. They genuinely look sharp as well, but there's a lot of really nice kind of like cracks and crevices included within the horns of this Triceratops. You can also see inside the mouth here, it has some really, really nice detailing to it. It's a little hard to get in there, being a Triceratops mouth. It's kind of hard to really get a good view in there. You can see the teeth are sculpted out back there, as well as the tongue quite beautifully present inside the mouth. Again, very, very highly detailed in every area is this Triceratops. And then moving back here into the body, again, the scale detail continues to look really beautiful. You can see the back of the frill as well looks really nice. Some nice kind of creasing going on down there, showing some movement there in the neck region of the Triceratops. And you have like a larger scale effect up here on the top, almost like a very large osteoderm-like scaling to the top of the Triceratops. Really, really cool looking overall. And again, detail so nice it practically paints itself. And then you have the base that comes with our Micromania busts. It's always the same base with these, which I really quite like that aspect, because then it kind of appears as though they all belong together. They look like a complete set, and I really do like that. But just like each and every one of the bases previous to this, if you've ever seen any of the other reviews of these figures, you'll already know what the base looks like. But it's incredibly highly detailed, sporting a beautiful earthy texture to it, and some really nice vines and stuff all over the place, maybe like some roots, however you want to term those, it's really up to you, but it's again super, super nicely done as far as the detailing aspect, and just about as highly detailed as the dinosaur itself. And then sports the Blackheart Models logo right there on the front with that really cool heart logo. And I try to paint each and every one of the bases differently. I try to paint even the hearts differently, the logos differently. So it's definitely a task when you have so many bases with an earthy area. There's not so much you could do with an earthy area, but I've been, I think, succeeding so far with making each and every one look different, but we're very, very close to kind of repeating the appearance of them at 8 different bases. I'm not all that great at painting earthy areas, but I think it's turned out pretty nicely and matches the Triceratops fairly well as far as the overall appearance goes. But this bust is beautiful and definitely a very high recommendation from me. So as with each of the Micromania busts, this bust was just a pure white resin kit when I received it, and the lower jaw was actually disconnected. So you'll have to glue the jaw on, and then you're good to go once you seal that up and make it look like the seams and everything don't exist, and you have a beautiful model that you can paint yourself. So if you're like new into painting, I highly recommend getting a hold of some of these Micromania busts because they're very cheap. They're only in like the 30 some odd dollar range. So they're a very cheap resin kit, and they sport incredible detail that I feel like there's almost no way to make the model look bad. They're just so good. And for the cheap price, 110% worth picking these up. And of course, this paint-wise is what I chose to do with mine, and I thought it turned out pretty good, kind of like a very bright male type of an appearance for a Triceratops. I don't often paint my dinosaurs with such a bright or flashy color, but I really wanted this one to stand out and look nice being a Triceratops, and I felt like I achieved it pretty much. Size-wise, the only real area that you need to see on this would probably be the height, because there's not going, I guess we could do like a length on the bust of the Triceratops, but height-wise, you're looking at about 5¼ inches or about 13 centimeters, a little over, actually maybe heading toward 13.5 centimeters. And then for a length on the bust, you're looking at roughly in the 4.5-inch range or about 11.5 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line next to our beautiful Micromania bust of the Triceratops. And now next to these guys, you should have a pretty good idea, again, size-wise, of how big these guys usually are. All of these busts are right around in the same size range, so they're all very similar in size to this. So if you're kind of checking the website out, debating which one you want, and you just want an idea of the size, again, this should help you out. Regardless, they are a beautiful size, and hopefully these models right here next to this will be able to show you that. So this Blackheart Models Triceratops Micromania bust is beautiful beyond belief. Definitely one of the nicest looking Triceratops in general that I have in my collection. Even if it's just a bust, the head sculpt here of this Triceratops is just off the charts gorgeous, if you ask me. I'm a huge fan of the appearance of this Triceratops head sculpt here, this bust. So in general, it straight away is incredible, but detail-wise, the detail on this is just jam-packed. There is so much detail included on these Micromania busts. Every single one that I own, they're all highly detailed, and you can see that here with this Triceratops. And again, detail is so good that it pretty much paints itself. It's just so insanely highly detailed. So it's a really good way to get into painting resin kits, to get into painting models. Definitely a great choice if you're new into painting. But even if you're not new into painting, if you're kind of a seasoned veteran, I guess you could say, as far as painting goes, they're still a great choice because they're nothing that's going to take up too much paint. They're not going to take up too much time to do. It's not like you have a million pieces to put together and then a giant dinosaur to paint or anything. It's just a bust, a really beautiful bust with a really cool base, and they're nice and small and compact. So there's a lot to like about these busts. Again, they all sport that same similar base to the figures. They all have that same similar look, and I really like that as well because it makes the entire thing look and feel like a joint set, which is a really cool addition to the figures. And I also love the fact that you can kind of swivel the head, swivel the bust around on the base to position the head however you would like. So, and it's really up to you how you display it. You can pretty much put that bust any way as far as turning it, and another of the many appealing factors of these busts. So I was going to bring out a few other busts to kind of display with this right now, but since I'm so close to getting the Ceratosaurus review up in a little while, as it's the last one that I have left of these currently, I'm going to wait until I get that review finished, and then I post that, and I will do a comparison with all of the busts at the end to show you how beautiful each and every one of them are. But again, this Triceratops is a very high recommendation from me, especially if you are kind of like me, you enjoy painting dinosaur models. Definitely a great choice. And even if you're not, if you just like dinosaur models in general, you can always buy it, have it sent to somebody else, and have them paint it. But I definitely recommend giving it a shot, giving it a try as far as painting, because it is a ton of fun. So if you would like to pick this up, I will include a link in the description to where you can do that on the Blackheart Models website. So make sure you check the description, follow that link on over there, and purchase yourself this or any of the other Micromania busts. And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.